Hello everyone! Today I will talk in detail about a battery charger from China. It's a multifunctional automatic charger. Foxar model FBC. I want to clarify right away that I'm not some kind of super specialist. I don't have my own workshop for repairing batteries or anything like that. But don't rush to turn off this video. I've watched several hours of various reviews of this charger, so you'll be able to learn everything about it in just a couple of minutes. And if you're too lazy to watch and just need a quick answer in 10 seconds on whether to buy it or not, the answer is definitely to buy it. Who needs the details? Let's watch the video. Let's actually get started. The charger comes in a box like this. It's of decent quality. Inside the box there's just the charger and the instructions. The instructions, by the way, are surprisingly of good quality. Thick glossy paper and a translation in several languages, including Russian. Next, what about the charger itself? To my pleasant surprise, it's quite heavy, about 600 grams, which I honestly didn't expect. Just so you know, I also had an automatic charger before, also Chinese and even from the same manufacturer, Foxar. The only difference is that the old one was only 6 points weaker. And it was also less smart. At the end of the video, I'll go into more detail comparing these two chargers. So, let's get back to it. The entire charger is made of plastic. There are no rubber inserts. The plastic is of pretty average quality. Let's put it this way. 4 out of 5 points. There's no unpleasant chemical smell. You can see the dimensions of the device on your screens. Let's just say it's not small, but the length of the wires was a pleasant surprise. The wires with the alligator clips are just under 60 cm, while the power cord is over a meter long, which is pretty good overall. The alligator clips themselves are made very well for this price. The thickness of the steel is 0.4 mm. The spring is very stiff. On top they are covered with a plastic shield that holds on well. Accidentally touch or pull it. Well, it's very tough. The wires are of decent quality, but in the cold, I think they'll still get a bit stiff. One downside is that they forgot to secure the wires, or rather, to press them against the metal itself. At the same time, the manufacturer didn't forget to solder them, which is probably more important. You can also press it down yourself with pliers. The plug is ordinary, standard, not a heavy-duty one, so the wire isn't thick. On the other hand, the wire doesn't really need that. But also the display, the font size, or rather the numbers, is just huge. It's really hard not to see them. But in bright sunlight, the numbers are hard to read. In very bright sunlight, I think it's practically unreadable. If you cover it with your hands, you can see it, but it's still just average. In cloudy weather or in the shade, everything is great. Everything is clear from any angle. There's only one button for control, which switches the modes. The key travel is ordinary, standard. Let's take it apart and see what's inside. Fortunately, you only need to unscrew 4 screws for this. A Phillips screwdriver. The display is detachable from the board, which is convenient in case something breaks. The fan also detaches. The fan is standard and fits many things. And if you suddenly order from the same AliExpress, for example, and it's also interesting that the fan is not just for show. If you cover it with a cloth, after a while the charger heats up and gives an error. And it only automatically turns back on after you remove the cloth. Now, regarding the board itself, the soldering and all that, I'm not much of an expert in this area, so I probably won't comment too much. From the more or less important things I've noticed, there is a fuse at the input. Foxar makes the boards themselves, because it has their logo on it, which is probably a good thing. Textilite, well, it's quite thick. Overall, everything looks quite nice and tidy. If you need it, the weight of the board is on your screen. Just in case you need that kind of information. In general, if you need to know exactly what currents, what voltage, at what point in time, and a bunch of other specifics, so there will be a link in the description to another video where you can find all the information you need. Yes, of course, 20-30 minutes of dry numbers and graphs, but again, this might be important for some people. To put it very briefly, like all inexpensive Chinese chargers, the readings on the display do not correspond to reality. And the charger lies a bit. But in this particular charger, the difference is not very big. For example, the difference in voltage will be 1/10, which isn't actually that bad. Many similar chargers lie a lot more. Next, this device has quite a few layers of protection. For example, temperature protection. Inside there's a sensor that either increases or decreases the input voltage depending on the temperature. There is protection against reverse polarity protection, short circuit protection, overcharge protection, and spark safety. However, I would definitely argue with that, because when connecting to the battery, a spark still jumps. Also, as a bonus, it's claimed that the device is controlled by a microprocessor. Well, that could very well be true because when you connect it, the screen lights up but nothing is displayed on it. About 2 to 3 seconds, it really gives the impression that the device, so to speak, thinks and analyzes on the old charger. It showed the voltage, temperature, and all that almost instantly. Whether that's a plus or a minus, you can decide for yourself. As for the operation, it's all just ridiculously simple. We connected the alligator clips to the battery terminals, plugged it into the outlet, and that's it. We selected the mode with the button and made sure that this mode suits you. By default, the charger immediately starts charging in smart mode, the one that has 7 stages. In general, this is a trend of recent years. It's specifically a smart charger, a multi-stage one. To put it simply, the charger has a program that can be seen in this picture, and at first it lasts for a while. Short pulses go to the battery, then the voltage increases and the current remains somehow. If you are interested, watch the video, link to which is in the description. To summarize, this is either just marketing, and all manufacturers do not want to lag behind each other, and that is why everyone is pushing this so-called intelligence. Or maybe this is really a new phase in affordable chargers, and this clever charging truly helps your battery last longer. I don't have a precise answer. But the fact is that the power, current and voltage actually drop, as shown in the figure, so there's probably some sense in it, along with the desulfation or repair mode. It's a controversial thing, and if you decided to buy a device because of this mode, then it might not be worth it. The principle of how the desulfation mode works. Both the old and the new ones are the same. However, the reviews online are extremely mixed. With the caveat that if the mode does work, you shouldn't expect miracles from it. No matter how much I've used them or how many friends and acquaintances I've lent them to be honest, I still haven't seen any results. That would go beyond the margin of error. As they say, I still haven't been able to feel the results with my own hands. If you have a different experience, be sure to share it. Now a bit about the old charger and the new one from the same manufacturer as I promised. In short, the evolution of chargers is quite evident. If the old one was very light and felt like a toy, the new one is just right. It's hefty, and the wire is longer in the new one. In the old one, I actually modified them because they were, well, way too short. The wires in the new device are thicker than the alligator clips. They're of better quality, and the protection is also improved. Smart, intelligent mode. In short, the new device is better in every way except maybe for the display. The old one was readable in the sun without any problems. The viewing angles were terrible. The viewing angles on the new one are great, but you can't see anything in the sun. And considering that the new one is more expensive than the old one by about $5 to $7, I think the choice is pretty clear. So, to sum it up, the downside of this device, in my opinion, is the display. It doesn't perform very well in the sun. And the second point, right after filming this video, the screen of the charger came off. Well, a little bit. It seems like a small thing and you could just glue it back, but the impression, so to speak, has lingered. Overall, for the money, everything is quite decent. Again, in the video linked in the description, the person goes into detail about what components the charger is made of, what's bad about it, and what's good. The video is long and drawn out, but there's a lot of information. In short, all the components for this price are decent. Don't expect miracles, and no one is going to give you super high quality, super reliable, and super expensive components. But for this price, it's really good. I have no idea how long the charger will last. I have no idea how reliable it is. If you're interested, the old Peugeot charger lasted me over 4 years. Everything is fine with it. I didn't use it super often, but I charge my battery, my dad's, my relatives, and even at work. The charger definitely wasn't just sitting around collecting dust. Well, it definitely didn't run for days on end. So keep an eye on the channel, and in about 3 years I'll tell you what happened to this charger. Something like that. And that's all for today. Thanks everyone for watching, and goodbye.